another episode of MultiverseNews. It's been a long time since we've done a video.
It's been a very long time since we've done a podcast.
Yeah, all of them. We've had a crazy month of
dad stuff.
Yeah. Vacations and honestly technical difficulties. After our Comic-Con recordings.
I know. Episode 3 was gonna be a nice hour-and-a-half long double session that didn't get recorded.
No, did not get recorded. So we, unfortunately, we didn't give you guys all the cool stuff we saw and thought about at Comic-Con.
I know. We had Defenders pre-thoughts.
Yeah. But, that are done with now because we can get into Defenders real stuff.
Yeah, so we can do Defenders wrap-up today as well.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be doing...
Well, this episode we'll just do the Defenders.
We'll do Defenders, yeah. Let's just stick to the Defenders. We'll keep it topical.
Yeah.
Because we have some catching up to do here. And... the background noise you all hear in the background and our lovely new studio is my basement with my family upstairs. So, screaming kids, you'll get it. No worries. We got there. That's what happens when you're a dad and you're trying to do a podcast.
Right, and they'll probably come storming in here, and that's fine too, because we'll just halt production really quick.
Yep.
But that's fine.
I know, there'd be a nice technical difficulty sign where you hear a screaming child in the background getting pulled upstairs. We could do that.
Yep. We might even record it.
Yeah, we might keep it in there. If it's funny, we'll leave it. But let's get to the Defenders because up till now, I think it's been pretty clear I'm a Marvel fanboy. I'm wearing a Daredevil t-shirt.
Yep.
I got a Captain America hat. And I hated it. I thought it was worse than Iron Fist. It was terrible. That's my spoiler-free version. We're going to get into spoilers. So you might want to just...
Stop listening or watching.
Or no, keep listening. You're going to get spoiled. Well, you probably watched it at this point. It's now 2
weeks.
It's
it's 2 weeks from the release. They've watched it. If they haven't, it's their own fault.
And if you're watching the post-Defenders wrap-up podcast, I hope you would expect spoilers at this point. No, this isn't the, hey, we're pumping the tires of it, so go watch it. This is the, here's our honest thoughts. And my first honest thought, lead-off thought, as the dog invades Kevin's space, is it was terrible.
Alright, so this is weird because normally he's so pro Marvel and I'm kind of like more like, well, they're not perfect, you know? But I actually liked the Defenders. But for me, I like the Defenders because I hated Iron Fist so much that anything would have washed that taste out of my mouth. So for me, it was like I was at an all-time low with the Netflix series, and then this even being a little bit better. Like, really was like, whoa, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was.
Which the irony here is that Iron Fist, I don't hate as much as the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because it sticks close to the comic book arc in a lot of ways, where it's him versus the Meacham family.
Right.
And honestly, there's some things that they did that are different, and they took some creative rights, but it's very much like, a kid comes home, you don't know much soap opera, and all the best Iron Fist stories that I like take place in Kunlun.
Me too.
And they didn't utilize that, where it was the one show where if they did a straight up origin story outside of New York City, and like maybe the last 2 episodes take place in New York City, and we cut it off there, it would have been perfect. And they screwed it up by not doing that.
Right, and honestly, if they want to redeem fans with season 2, you gotta do that. You gotta do the Immortal Iron Fist, the tournament of the gods that they do. Because to me, if they literally took that show and turned it into a blood sport type, like Mortal Kombat match with Iron Fist in like getting involved in this tournament and like finding out the workings going on behind it, that'd be so interesting. It'd be such good fighting, and I think they would totally redeem a lot of it. But before they do any of that, they need to get him to be the real Iron Fist because he is. Like, such a disappointment to me.
He's an asshole.
It's not even that. It's the coolest thing in Iron Fist was the video of the last Iron Fist.
Well, so drama queen dog moment. Sorry about that. She was just getting scratched and didn't like it.
The video of the last Iron Fist where you see him in the full headgear and everything, running through the woods, both his fists glowing, just beating the shit out of all those Nazis or whatever the hell it was.
Oh, you're talking about the
found footage,
the old Iron Fist, not Danny Rand, but one. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like some way to channel that costume as part of the character. Not
even just the costume. I feel like in that past video that it showed, where he had both fists glowing and he was beating the shit out of everybody, and the way he was moving and fighting, that's how Iron Fist is supposed to be. So for me, until Danny Rand gets to the point where his fists are just like he just uses them without like care. Really, I mean, he always drains it. It always drains him.
Well, so
but like
I think, and this is one of those things that gets confused. A lot of people who the character's new to, the thing is that was a recent development out of that Immortal Cities of Heaven story.
Yeah.
When Ed Brubaker came back and did Iron Fist, and he did, I think it's Ed Brubaker. I gotta double check, but it was dropped in like 2002 or 5, somewhere in that time frame. And it is my favorite Iron Fist story because really what they did is they took a campy, awesome looking character, cool outfit, cool logo, but he's a Batman Tony Stark clone.
Yeah.
There's not much originality to it, and on top of that, he's not even like. The character's creation is basically like. What is it? Kung Fu with David Carradine was the best show on TV, and they wanted to steal some of that fan base.
Exactly.
That's the character, and everyone who got mad about the character. I don't know how you're ignorant of that nonsense. Like,
no.
how are you ignorant of that? And so, here's my problem with the Defenders. Iron Fist, while I didn't think it was that bad, is admittedly the weakest of all of the Netflix series, with maybe the exception of the Defenders, because they took these 3 awesome characters that had stood on their own and were just great characters on their own, and they pulled them down to Iron Fist level.
They did.
Rather than elevate Iron Fist to their levels, they pulled them down and made them caricatures of themselves. Luke Cage, I can't tell if he's badass, powerful, or not. I can tell you he's got the shittiest plans in the world, because it's like, hey, Jessica Jones, why don't you just go talk at them with your wittiness, and I'm going to hide behind this pole.
Jumped up.
Yeah, I'm going to hide behind this pole, and Matt, you go stand right there and swing in later off a mystical cord that no one knows where it came from.
Oh, it's his thing.
That's right, it was his weapon. I'm sorry, I'll take that much back. But it was all stupid.
It is.
And it was like, I got a plan. And it was the weakest plan in anything I've ever seen. And it speaks to the writing of the end of that show. That entire moment to me speaks to the last 2 episodes of that show. Because I can't remember if Elektra kills Andrea at the end of episode 6 or at the beginning of episode 7. But it's somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think it's 7.
And the show was getting interesting at episode 6. And the reason why I hated it was they needed 6 more episodes to do what they did in 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. And so I was more like, all right, you're building up Andrea to be this cool, that's her name, right, at this point?
I think it was.
She was
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver's character was built up to be badass villain, great motivations. I wanted to know more about what she was going to do and what the plan was. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, all right, we'll have Elektra kill her because she's a better fighter. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
what about these Elektra powers too? Like she can punch people through walls and stuff.
Oh well, yeah,
that's so lame.
Black Sky Elektra now is stronger than Luke Cage,
which is stupid.
Yeah, fast,
so stupid.
But still can't beat Matt Murdock in a fight. And I'm saying disproportionate power levels.
Oh my god, that's literally I was about to say that my most annoying. The thing that annoyed me the most about the show was how. One scene you have Luke Cage and Jessica Jones hitting different people and sending them flying.
Yeah.
And then in the next immediate choreography when it comes back to them, they do a very similar hit to someone and they're just like, oh. They just take it. Come on, you gotta have their powers be normal. Like in Luke Cage, they're in his badass scene where he goes in to steal all the drugs or guns or whatever the hell he does in his season. He's flicking people in the head because he knows that
will knock him out. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
But in this one, he's full on punching people and they're not moving like they were when he was flicking them.
I know he's full on punching people. It should be going through a normal person's chest, let alone undead ninja with no blood. It bothered me. And then the Iron Fist, which was the end all be all of all power punches. In this, to the point where I know it's powerful, but it breaks his jaw or it literally clears an entire room of people. I don't even know how strong the Iron Fist is or isn't.
I gotta give you though, when that scene happened, when the Luke Cage Iron Fist fight first happened, he's like, "What are you made of?" And he's hitting him. That was actually part of this. I liked it. I like the back and forth. I like that he keeps trying to hit him, and then when he actually got him with the fist and rocked him, and he went flying, I was like, I was like, man, if this show continues on this path. With these characters, getting more powerful and, honestly, their banter could have been better, too. But, at that point, I was, really hopeful for the show.
You literally hit on the one note of the show that, saved it from being worse than Batman vs. Superman for me. And that is that the character interactions were honest and good to the characters in those first 6 episodes.
Yeah.
It was awesome watching them sit in the Chinese restaurant.
Best episode of the show.
Yeah, and just talking and spitting it out. Watching Matt Murdock go on his arcs and Jessica Jones go on her arc of, we're not going to do this, and then come back to the fold. It was great. And there was something you said about fight choreography I'm just going to revisit quickly. They need to teach Mike Coulter how to fucking fight. I dropped a hard F there because all he does is this, ready? And throw people across the room or flick them. And the guy Luke Cage is awesome. He doesn't need to know how to fight that much.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of Luke Cage, they're showing him with classic boxer training. But he doesn't know how to do it. But Mike Coulter, I have the impression, doesn't know how to do anything more than grab somebody on the shoulders and chuck him across the room.
Well, that again, and that's I don't know if you can blame Mike Coulter. I don't
know if you can blame him.
He does what they tell him.
I'm putting in there because you hear Finn Jones talk about how he has to pick up the choreography and go with it. And so, they need to make sure it's something that Mike Coulter can pick up, a boxing sequence.
Yeah.
And to see him, do boxing punches would have been an improvement over just seeing him grab everybody.
This is the thing. So it's a very minimal thing they had to do to get these characters like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage to be able to go full out against the hand. They're reanimated. You know what I mean? Or at least they were in all the other iterations of them. So all you have to have one conversation before they go in where Daredevil says, "These people have already died. Don't hold back." You know what I mean? Then that would have been amazing if you see Luke Cage straight up honestly because in the comics he's not Hulk strong, but he's strong enough to
lift a car,
yeah. Or rip a door off a car and fling it at you.
He's just Spider-Man strong. I mean,
yeah,
and that's
absolutely
right. He's approximately that strong, plus or minus.
And Jessica Jones is about that level too.
Yeah.
So these people, and I actually. Granted, she did do her little jump fly thing at the end of the season where she holds the elevator shaft in place.
Yeah.
Whatever. And that would have been cool and everything like that. But I think that whole sneaky, at the end of the final episode where it's I got a plan, blah, blah, blah. It would have been better if those two came in, right? And then all of a sudden she zooms down and literally, because that would have been great even for her character to see her literally fly in, which they haven't seen her fly. And they would be what the fuck? And then and then she just zooms in and takes one Elektra or just zoomed in, just hits Elektra once, just anything like that, anything to raise the cool bar, which they didn't do at all. It went down.
Well, they could have done something real simple. They could have stolen right from the comics, and they could have done this with a hand from back in Daredevil season 2. Is that they're reanimated and they get hard enough they poof into smoke.
Yeah.
And you have Luke Cage and Jessica Jones punching these ninjas and them turning into smoke on that choreography scene. It would have been awesome just to see the fog of smoke
and then
rise
them jumping through it,
beating the hell out of everybody.
jump through it to get to the next one.
I mean, think about that visual effect and how much cooler it could have potentially made those fight scenes.
And because it hasn't been done in a movie. Have you seen any? I mean, maybe some vampire movies, but have you ever seen anyone turn to smoke and then someone jump through and grab the next person?
Yeah, just keep beating the hell out of them. I mean, that would have been there were so many things they could have done and thought through. But and here's the next part of where I was going with the crap writing in those last 2 episodes. Is how the hell is Dragon Bones going to make New York City blow up? It's so dumb. It got so convoluted and stupid. And then the best part is that I'm more convinced that Calling Wings' plan, not the Defenders, because they weren't even smart enough to save the city, that do Calling Wings' plan of domestic terrorism is more dangerous than the Hand was in the end of it. It was so...
No, but the building collapsed in on itself because there's a big hole, Dave.
Yeah, because that's the way it works, right? But I mean, so you have these characters all signing off on domestic terrorism. Luke Cage is the only one really giving it a second thought.
Yeah.
And at the same time, to bury Dragon Bones, nothing, there was no explanation about, these mythical Dragon Bones hold this into the place of the realm.
Right, they didn't get into it at all.
No, they didn't. There was nothing to...
All of a sudden, at the end of it, it was one line of dialogue where they said... This is what keeps us young. Okay, how? What do you grind it into a powder and snort it? What is it?
Well, they could have bailed it out by having that be a gateway to Kung Lung.
Exactly.
And they're doing everything in their power to not go to Kung Lung is what it feels like. And it would have saved those last 2 episodes to have them go to Kung Lung and have Elektra just murder people in Kung Lung and Danny have to and then you even somehow elevate Danny to the rest of them by making it that Danny-centric. Is that because he was stupid and impetuous again, he opened the door to Kung Lung and now people really did die.
Right, and you know what? Not for nothing, that would actually give you... Because I don't know who they're going to go with for Season 2 for Iron Fist for a villain. I imagine it's going to be Davos, Steel Serpent.
Yeah.
But even if it was Elektra, I mean, that makes a good story right there of him having to get back to Kunlun to stop her. But I actually think that, because the last scene of obviously the spoiler, that Daredevil's still alive.
So many unexplained things happen in the last 5 minutes.
But the fact that Daredevil's still alive, like, when it shows him, I actually think he might be in Kunlun. I think there might be a portal to Kunlun down there. Because, like, where the hell would he have gone? Like, all of a sudden he's in, like a nunnery with, like, getting taken care of, which...
I know. I mean, here's the thing.
I wouldn't mind it honestly, I wouldn't mind it if he ended up in Kunlun. Like, that's at least something.
Here's the thing that sucks, that, like, I'm excited for Daredevil Season 3, and I'm kind of disappointed by all this, is that him waking up in that nunnery for that Frank Miller Born-Again arc, that's clearly a spoiler to, or alluding to, that's a great Daredevil arc. But there's a sequence of events that happened before it
that hasn't happened.
Wilson Fisk is the machinator behind. That has to get Matt Murdock to that low place, so when he meets his mother/nun, it has that emotional resonance, and it won't have it. Because if that's what that is supposed to be...
It must be.
And right, I mean, I can't think of what else it is. They didn't get Kingpin in there, which that would have been a great subplot to the Defenders, is while everyone's chasing the Hand, you get to see what Kingpin's connection to the Hand is, and then how he starts slowly go on his plot of revenge against Matt Murdock. So while Matt Murdock's saving the city, he's sabotaging his relationship with Foggy further, he's sabotaging his relationship with Karen Page. I would have loved to find out, for the Karen Page being a heroin addict, being the reason why people find out Kingpin finds out Matt Murdock is Daredevil. That would have been great, because there's this thing that about Deborah Ann Wolf's Karen Page character that we still haven't learned yet from Daredevil Season 1, where there's something wrong with her past, and we don't know what that is.
Right.
And I would love for that. I do like that they're going to pull her into Punisher. Yeah. And maybe we'll get to see some of that darkness to her character and where it came from.
You probably will. You probably will, because honestly, the Punisher's awesome, and John Barenthal, or was that his name?
Barenthal.
Barenthal. He's so good as the Punisher.
I mean, you watch Walking Dead and you see his Shane portrayal. You knew
as soon as they said it was him, because they Googled it, I was like, oh, John Barenthal cast as Punisher, and I Googled it, I'm like, who the hell's John Barenthal? I looked it up. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, Shane for The Walking Dead? Perfect casting.
I'm actually fairly convinced that Shane was probably supposed to die in season 1 of The Walking Dead, but they liked John Barenthal so much they rewrote the script.
Yeah,
because in the comics, Shane is
he dies almost immediately after Rick comes back.
He's like a 1 or 2 issue character.
He is.
And to see how Shane lives on in there, but that's because and I totally went off the rails on Walking Dead. But but you see how he carried Shane and what he turned Shane into, and you saw those Frank Castle notes come through in that zombie apocalypse wasteland of you got to make the hard decision, and it's just going to be so exciting just to see him go and do that as the Punisher.
I agree. Yeah. He's going to be awesome. And he's such a good Frank Castle. He's such a but I think, like I said, I don't know how much story you can really drive out with him. So her being in it's actually smart. In fact, the fact that they use these characters like Rosario Dawson through all of these things is smart, because not only does it link it to obviously the past shows, but it gives the viewer characters they already like that are just, you get to see them fleshed out more. So
Defenders. This is, here was my thought watching Defenders. I feel like the reason why it ended up suffering is the same reason Age of Ultron ended up suffering. Because we just talked about it. So much stuff happens in the last episode.
Yeah.
Where they're just setting up storylines for the next set of shows. It's a reset, right? They're serving as a reset to be like, oh crap, we didn't really have a good place to leave off with Iron Fist, so we're going to make him be patrolling Hell's Kitchen for Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock at the end of Daredevil Season 2, they left him off in that, torn relationship, everything's wrong. It is close to Born Again, but Defenders kind of repairs those things, and everyone thinks Matt Murdock is dead. I don't know. We'll see. I guess they can pull it off.
Right. That's actually interesting that you just brought that up, because there's a Daredevil comic where he goes to jail, and in order to, because people accuse him of being Daredevil, or in the trial, Matt Murdock is being accused of being Daredevil too. I don't know. Maybe Wilson Fisk doesn't, but he goes to jail. He actually has Iron Fist pretend to be Daredevil for a good portion while he's in jail to prove that he's not Daredevil. So I actually think that the reason that we're going to see Iron Fist costume is going to be some kind of spin-off of him wearing a Daredevil suit patrolling the city.
Now they have him wearing a gold and green tracksuit.
The vest. It was the unzipped vest. Actually, not for nothing, I don't mind the vest the green vest because it kind of looks like what the hell is his name? It's not the other guy's name. What's the other Iron Fist? Oh shit, he was in the Immortal Iron Fist storyline. He's the it's not Danny Rand, and this guy's name is something Randall. I can't think of his name, but he's an Iron Fist too.
Yeah, like Orson Randall.
Orson Randall, yes.
Okay, yeah,
that is it. That is a good call.
Yeah,
so he's an Iron Fist too, and that actually makes me excited for the next season of Iron Fist because I thought of this the other day. What if the reason that Danny's like fist is so pathetic and so unusable?
He's untrained because he left.
Not even that. Not even that.
That's part of it.
It could be, but what if because they thought Orson Randall was dead, and only one of them can be using the Iron Fist at a time? That like they're each kind of like draining the power at the same time. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Because that would be interesting to see him get together, train Danny in the second season on how to be a better Iron Fist, and then like he dies like at the penultimate episode, and all of a sudden Danny's like both fists glow because like he gets the full power back.
I mean, like they alluded to it. I thought in season 1 with when Bakuto, before you find out he's a member of the Hand, even though it was pretty obvious he was doing something weird and effed up, goes and looks at Danny and says, "You're not even trained on how to use this properly. You can actually heal things," and shows him how to do that, right? And so that's also out of the comics, and they alluded to it. I think they could do it well, and I mean, I'm excited to see what happens, but I'm so disappointed by that damn show. Like I was so excited for it. The first 6 episodes got me hyped up and jazzed out. And it was one of those shows where the ending was so piss poor it ruined the whole thing for me.
Yeah.
And those things exist. Like my other famous example that has nothing to do with the Defenders is The Wolverine, where he's in Japan, where they take from that classic Frank Miller arc, and it's an absolutely amazing movie that anyone can watch until some studio exec says, "We need the Silver Samurai to be a robot." Yeah, exactly. and it totally ruins the movie. I mean, my wife, who hates comic movies, was liking that movie. Up until that point. And it's actually why Logan turns out to be such a goddamn awesome movie, is because somebody looked at that studio exec and said, "You need to be fired. Don't talk about this movie ever again. And we're going to let the filmmaker," because it's the same filmmaker from The Wolverine to Logan, except the filmmaker got to have creative control in Logan throughout the process. And that's why Logan is just the best Wolverine movie, arguably comic movie.
Probably X-Men movie, you could say.
Definitely X-Men. Arguably a comic movie that I've ever seen. It's either that or The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with people saying that they like Logan as their best comic book movie. It's not my favorite, but it was definitely good. I liked it a lot.
It transcended the genre, which not many comic book movies do.
They took the things that they could take from Old Man Logan, and then they turned, and then they were like, and we're gonna make it like Tombstone. Damn it! What's that Western? With the girl.
Unforgiven.
Well,
that's the.
It's kind of like Unforgiven too.
Yeah, it's the Clint Eastwood. that's the canon for Old Man Logan.
It is. But then but I was thinking more along the lines of.
I think it's Mark Millar who writes Old Man Logan.
What the hell is it? The one with the little girl. The one with the girl who. And Jeff.
Oh, The Professional.
No, and Jeff Bridges. Well, kind of like that too.
Yeah.
But the one those
were the two things that struck out to me.
Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon are both in it, and the little girl, and it's. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a Western with those two, and they're protecting a little girl.
True Grit.
True Grit. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So it's like a story of like getting to point A to point B with the little girl.
I mean, that makes sense because
kind of a revenge story. But.
Well, that makes sense because Old Man Logan is written based off of those two things, really.
Westerns.
So Westerns, specifically Unforgiven, which is if you go to the comic book arc, it's Wolverine on a farm with his family, just trying to forget everything he did, right? And then you go to this one, it's him with Professor X and like his pseudo family just trying to like forget everything that happened, right? And so, I mean, I don't know. I thought it was awesome, and I like that they had the constraint of not having the greater Marvel universe,
right?
So I mean, you're not going to get to have
Hulk.
Well, Old Man Logan cut off, is it Red Skull's head with Captain America's shield? Yeah. I mean, like, as much as I would have loved to see
zooming off in the Iron Man suit after doing it again.
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many fun, like, Marvel A factors, blind Hawkeye driving them across the country. Like, you couldn't do those things. And so, with those limitations, they told an amazing story because there's so many things you couldn't have pulled from the comic because the greater Marvel universe has so much to do with it.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Logan was good, and obviously you can't even compare the Defenders to any of these great movies. You can't even compare it to season 2 or season 1 of Daredevil. It's so much worse.
I compare it to Batman vs Superman because I hate it.
Yes.
So I mean, that's not the only comparison point I can think of. Is just because they did too much with too little time.
Right.
It is a show that clearly would have benefited. Like at some point needed to call pause on the storyline
and be like, what the hell are we writing?
We need to delay this Netflix, and we need to add 6 more episodes.
This is the thing.
A 12-episode version of that, they could tell out why Daredevil stabs Andrea in the back. Or, well, not Daredevil, I'm sorry. Elektra just stabs Andrea in the back, and she takes over the Alexandra, that's what it was.
Alexandra.
Oh, God, I was awful this whole podcast with that. So
we'll start over. No, just kidding. No.
So at this point, just, erase everything we said. We're going to do another 30 minutes. No.
No, but
we can't do that.
No,
it's not important because the character wasn't important at the end of the day. But they built her up to be this awesome, important character. But to me, the Hand has got to be the most convoluted of nincompoops ever invented. If their whole plan
it's funny
is to
because
find
they're
dragon
super.
bones.
Season 2 of Daredevil, they're super intimidating. There's so many ninjas running around, and you're like, especially at the point where
what's at the bottom of the hole?
Right, it's all this build up for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stupid dragon bones.
No shit. Wouldn't it have been better if it was Fing Fang Foom or whatever at the
Yeah,
bottom of the hole?
something.
Some kind of
Anything.
like the giant dragon. Or
The demon of the Hand.
Yeah.
Like something would have been awesome to like find out, meet the demon of the Hand, which they go on to and they...
Even if it was, dude, the demon of the Hand. Even if it was the demon of the Hand took possession of Elektra.
Yeah.
Or something. Would have made it worthwhile.
I love the...
Or Sigourney Weaver, because she was already dead.
Yeah.
Took possession of her.
Yep, and so you find out Elektra killing Sigourney Weaver
was a mistake.
Was Alexander's plan the whole time.
Yeah.
Right, like that would have been an awesome twist, but they needed another... So we had 8 episodes. We needed another 4 episodes minimum to tell
12 episodes
to tell a
good.
story like that.
Especially with waiting this long for it, and after having 2 seasons of Daredevil, 1 season of each of the other shows. I mean, that's a long time to get you especially when the plots for these other shows have been written.
Yeah.
Like after the Iron Fist plot was written, there's no reason that they didn't have enough time to be like, all right, we need to get our ducks in a row here if this is what we need to get to, or have had an idea before that even of what they needed to get to. And if this is where they were going with it, it's lame.
Yeah.
And maybe they're saving big stuff for Defenders season 2, but in 5 years, I mean, hopefully.
I mean, at this point,
I haven't seen the rating, but I know that when I first went to start watching it, it had already dropped from like 5, like when it first aired, like stars, to like 3, and I was like, oh shit. So I don't even know where it sits now. It's probably still 3.
It's probably below Iron Fist at this point because like those last 2 episodes are just so bad.
Yeah.
And like at least with the Iron Fist story, you had that Kung Lung disappearing, monks dead cliffhanger.
Right.
Where Danny Rand did have some small levels of character progression.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Defenders, like, they show that character progression, and then at the penultimate episode, he punches the damn thing and gets manipulated into being the Danny Rand from the first episode of Iron Fist season 1.
That's the most annoying thing about Danny Rand.
Yep.
He's supposed to be this chi-centered like master of kung fu, and like in the comics, he still gets mad, and that's fine. But he would never go all full out Iron Fist, try to punch like
Elektra when she's clearly egging him on.
Right.
Like it's like if you use the Iron Fist on this, you'll never get me to use the Iron Fist.
Oh, but I'm using it now. Like I killed everybody in Kunlun.
Let me punch you in the face one time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It literally, like there was no effort. It was just straight up manipulation, and that's what she did. And it wasn't even good manipulation. It was literally like him just being an idiot again.
Yeah. You know what's most annoying about that too is like she gets her memories back, and she's still like. And she just wants Matt to be down there with her and whatever. And like, what's the point of having her memories back? Like, because if she really had them back, there's no way she would have been like, I hate everything. I want everyone to die. Like, that's just stupid.
I mean, I would have bought it a little bit from Daredevil season 2, but I mean, the Elektra arc in Daredevil season 2 is one of the weaker parts of it. I mean, because the Punisher arc is amazing. Mm-hmm. The Elektra arc is good,
and the Hand stuff's pretty good too.
Yeah,
like bringing Nobu back and stuff. But like I don't know.
But it almost makes. But the Defenders was so bad, and what they did with the Hand was so poor that I almost hate Daredevil's second half season, just because I know where it goes.
Right.
Like which And it makes Iron Fist weaker, which it was already weak with because of the stuff with the hand in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes anything with Kung Lung weaker because they keep having the hand, not having the hand tied to Kung Lung so directly.
Mm-hmm.
And the hand being so stupid and so unwise. Like, their whole endgame was to unearth a dragon bones in New York.
Mm-hmm.
There was no, like... They only...
Their end game was to live, for the 5 hand members to live forever. And that's friggin' stupid.
But it seemed
like it wasn't, it's New York's time to go. What do you mean? All you did was cause one little earthquake and dig a giant hole to get dragon bones.
Yeah.
Taking the dragon bones out is going to cause the entire city to fall in on itself.
Right, like, exactly. I mean...
It's terrible. Terrible plot line.
I think that's where we end our Defenders wrap-up.
I think we should.
Because, like, I can't sum it up any better than what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
God damn it. It's horrible. It's horrible.
All right, that's it for episode 3. We'll be back with episode 4 in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye.